Morning. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. I wanted to come in today. Today is June 17th, 3 days before my birthday, actually, and I wanted to give you guys some updates on what's happening in the stock market and why and what the factors are that are kind of affecting stock prices, as well as some really good news about HBCUs. So the first thing I'll mention to you really quick for those of you who just came in. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody. Type your hashtag B1 in the chat. Hashtag B1 means you're black first. So use hashtag B1 when you go on your social media so that other B1 minded people can join in the conversation. Also, make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. Thank you for the happy birthday wish, Mei Ling. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. So here's what is going on in the market. Basically, the stock market went up again, but only slightly today. It's up for the fourth day in a row. It's been a really great, month and a half for investing. If you're an investor, then you probably made money. If you are making money, I want to just make sure I warn you. And I remember I did a lot of warnings during the whole Bitcoin thing when a lot of people were making money really easy in the Bitcoin thing, but nobody listened, of course, but I want to warn you that times are not always like this. That times, will get worse. Bad things are going to happen. Markets are going to crash. So just keep that in mind as you collect your trillions of dollars and your bank account gets swollen up and everything else. Just prepare. Remember that when times are good, you prepare for when times are going to be bad, right? When times are good, you prepare for when times are going to be bad. Those are the major things. What's really interesting right now, the big driving factor in my view is Corona and getting a vaccine. And they had another breakthrough with a drug in England or something that they said is, keeps people alive, which is great. And also they're getting more information. Just generally, the uncertainty still exists, but the uncertainty is gained. There's more clarity behind the uncertainty. So even though this is a virus that they're afraid of and a virus that they don't fully understand, they're getting more clear about exactly what they understand and what they don't understand. They're getting more clarity. It's almost like in statistics, you have variation, but then you can actually have a degree of clarity in your variation. So for example, many of you may have heard of the term standard deviation. Standard deviation is basically a measure of volatility, up and down, up and down, up and down. But, sometimes you need a lot of data to really know exactly what the volatility is, right? So sometimes even the volatility can have volatility, right? So even with a reduction in the variation of the standard deviation itself, you can gain information. Now, let me explain that in English, because I know that probably sounded crazy when I said it. But basically, it's like you have what you know, you have what you don't know, and then you have what you don't know you don't know. Well, sometimes just being clear about what you don't know can really help you a lot, right? Just kind of being clear, I don't know, if you're in a bad relationship and you know what they do, right? So imagine being in a bad relationship. So you know that they come home every day. You know that they're not stealing money from you. You don't know if they're cheating on you, but then you don't know what you don't know, right? So you wonder I wonder if they could be on drugs. I wonder if they could be a serial killer. I wonder if there's other stuff happening behind the wall that I'm not even thinking about because I don't even know it's a possibility. Well, after you know a person for a while, I've known Alicia for a while, I still don't know. I can never know for sure if she was cheating on me, right? I hope she's not, right? Well, I mean, who would pass up on all of this? Who would cheat on all of this, right? I'm playing. But one thing I can say for certainty is that if somebody came to me and said, "Oh, Alicia murdered 5 people," I'd be like, no, that's not possible. She doesn't do that. That's not the kind of person she is because I've been around her a long time. But if I just met her last week and they said the same thing, I might be like, wow, I didn't know that she could even kill people like that. I got to get away from this girl, right? So basically that's what's going on with the market in Corona. Corona is a driving factor. Every new development is going to typically lead to a market jump. The big factors that have really moved the market, in my view, have been Corona, good economic news, meaning we're not losing as many jobs as we thought. We're still bleeding. We're just not bleeding as bad as we thought we were. And then the Fed. The Fed is popping in. And they're really propping up the market. I mean, the Fed does not do a good job of taking care of everybody. But you live in America, a capitalist society. They never taken care of everybody. They take care of investors, right? That's why I want you guys to become investors. So, and in fact, there's a clip on my Instagram if you want to go check it out from Dr. Claude Anderson, that in which basically he says it's silly when people tell you that we have to eradicate all poverty. He said poverty is going to be there. Poverty ain't never going away. He said, or at least based on the current system, it's never going away. He said the goal should be for black people to just get other black people out of poverty, right? To go into our communities and do the things we got to do to make sure we say, look, poverty is going to be there, but we're not going to be a part of that, right? So that's what other communities do. That's what Nigerian communities do. That's what Asian communities do, etc. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of thinking about sort of what you're dealing with and how you want to position yourself in this society. The reason it's important to be an investor and a consistent investor is because a lot of that Fed money that comes in, it props up the markets. It just does. That's just what they do. So it's important to just know what's going on. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Hey, Madam Butterfly, I see you in there. Good to see you, sister. Also, let me give you some more good news real quick. This is good news I saw today on CNBC that the CEO of Netflix is going to give $120 million to HBCUs. So let's give him a digital round of applause. Way to go, white boy. That's cool. Like I give him his props. He put his money where his mouth is. $120 million. That's not chump change. Good for him. So it says Netflix CEO Reed Hastings is committing a total of $120 million to institutions dedicated to the higher education of students of color. Not students of color. I don't like being called people of color. We need to get rid of that. Hastings and his wife Patty, that's such a white name, will donate $40 million to the United Negro College Fund and to Spelman and Morehouse. Oh, so $40 million to UNCF and to Spelman and Morehouse. So each of those will get $40 million. If that's the case, I think that might actually be the biggest donation to an HBCU since Bill Cosby and his wife Camille gave $20 million to Spelman back in the 1980s. $20 million in 1988, whenever they made the donation, is about $40 million today. So Cosby and Camille may still have the lead, but the white boy really stepped up. Like, this is a big donation. I hope that our wealthy black celebrities who brag about being billionaires and all that, I hope that they feel embarrassed. I hope they feel ashamed that this white boy just literally just outshined their asses. I'm hoping that they'll come up and get together and maybe collectively they can give another $100 million to HBCUs, but not just to the top ones though. That's the other thing too. You got to pour into the top schools for sure. Spelman and Morehouse are like the Harvard and Yale of the black community, in my opinion. Great institutions. But let's go after also the schools that are really struggling. Let's find those schools that are on the brink of being on the brink. There was an HBCU president that runs a school down south. I forgot what the brother's name was, but he wrote a great op-ed in the LA Times to Dr. Dre. When y'all remember? Give me a yes or no if you remember when Dr. Dre gave all that money to USC. He gave millions and millions of dollars with Jimmy Iovine or whatever his name is, and they gave all this money to USC. And if you've ever been to USC, it's easy to tell USC does not need that money. They could care less if he gave that money to them or not. And I don't like that, because the money needs to go where the money's needed. It's like if you've got extra food and you've got the starving kids over here, the kids that are going to survive over in the middle, and then the fat kids who just ate over here. Why the hell are you going to give all the food to the fat kids? That don't even make no sense. You don't give the food to the fat kids. You say, look, you little chubby bastard, go run a couple of laps around the block, and you can eat tomorrow, right? Sure, the fat kids are going to want the money or want the food. They're going to stand in line first. But you say, look, get out of line. We're going to let that little hungry kid in the back eat because he's about to die. If he doesn't get food, he will be dead. So some of the HBCUs are damn near dead. And a lot of celebrities and that's what the brother said. He said it so politely. I'm not polite. I don't have the ability to be as diplomatic. I envy that. I admire that so much. And he wrote a great op-ed where he was very, very respectful, very, very polite, and was like, look, that amount of money you gave USC, they're going to run through that money in about 2 weeks. Literally. If you look at their budget, I think their budget is over $1 billion a year or something ridiculous like that. He said, but for an HBCU, you can educate tens of thousands of black people for the next 100 years. Why would you not go where the money is going to have the most impact? So I think, again, going back to these celebrities, sure, it's great that the white boy stepped up. It's great that the Netflix guy popped in. I mean, my God bless him. I mean, he's making bank. Hey, Netflix, brilliant company, brilliant concept, making money hand over fist. They are the Pablo Escobars of the business world. And black people have probably given billions of dollars to them, right? Because all of y'all got Netflix. Most of y'all do. I know Alicia and I do. But here's the thing. You cannot get to the point where you're relying on, benevolent white boys to come in and save the institutions that represent your community. You cannot, white guilt will not create black power. White charity will not create black economic independence. So while I accept the money, I think it's great. I know a lot of young people are going to benefit from that. Those young people must become the generation that says, we're not going to endure the shame of having to wait for white folks to come in and write a check to save us. In the next generation, we're going to write the damn check because we got this. We got this. I tell the story about my father when I was 7 years old, and our car broke down, and we were driving down the road, and my dad's a country boy, he's a man's man. He's a tough guy. He's killed people. He don't mess around, and our car broke down. So we were about maybe like 2 miles from the exit, right? But walking down the freeway is kind of daunting, right? Because you got cars zipping by, and you're not supposed to be walking on the expressway. But we got out of the car and we started walking, and it was me, my mother, my father. I think my sister might have been like 3 or 2 or something, right? So it's like, so imagine like a mother, a father, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old holding hands walking down the freeway, right? So some really good, good Samaritan white folks, saw us on the side of the road. And they say all white peoples ain't bad, right? So this white person, saw us, and they pulled over and they said, hey, can we give you a ride? And my father said, no thanks, we got this. And I was like, why don't we get in the car? Like, they offered us a ride, and so I just did what my dad told me to do. We just kept on walking, and we walked all the way up the ramp and all that stuff. And I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. My father said, I'm a man. I got this. This is my family. I got this. I will take care of this. Thank you for your help, but we don't need any help. I'm not trying to say that he would have been wrong to have taken the ride, but the problem is that you got black folks going through life, constantly looking for somebody to give them a ride. We go through our whole lives. I talked to a rapper friend one time. He was a rapper, but he wasn't making no money. He was like working at a car dealership or working at a restaurant. He would get these odd jobs, and I say, hey man, so how you doing financially? You got a job yet? What you up to? What you start a business with? He said, well, I ain't got no job because the white man ain't hiring. And I said, man, don't ever say that punk shit to me again. Like, I can't tolerate that. I have no tolerance for that weak-minded language. I said, you got a daughter. You have to find a way to make a way. You got to find a way to get it done by any means necessary. Don't tell me that you can't take care of your child because the white man ain't hiring. So I would just say at the end of the day, let's not sit around waiting for white folks to give us a ride. I think it's great that the guy from Netflix made that donation. God bless him for that. He's one of the good ones. I really respect that immensely. But I think that black celebrities should be ashamed and embarrassed that you have neglected your institution so badly that white people have to shed tears for your community that you're not taking care of and come in and write big checks, because it alleviates their guilt. They're paying their own little personalized reparations, and you're over here sitting there bragging about how you just bought a $300,000 European car and a $80,000 gold chain, shaped like Mickey Mouse. Nobody cares about that. Like, so we must elevate. We must sort of change our thinking. We must evolve as people and understand what true black empowerment looks like, what true black independence looks like. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on this today. Again, the stock market, I hope it continues to go up today. There's a lot of developments. That big infrastructure plan by the Trump administration, that's another thing that boosted the market. They're going to be spending a lot of money. That's a good thing for the economy. As you get involved in all the politics and the activism, make sure that, at the end of the day, that you're thinking about your family and building your wealth. Don't get so caught up in the emotionality that you also don't get caught up in the practicality. And I'm laughing because somebody said Boyce is a Republican at heart. I put on my Instagram, which is the real Boyce Watkins. I put it up last night that just because I'm not a Democrat does not mean I'm a Republican. And actually, most of you agree with that. I did a survey on my YouTube channel, and I think 60% of those who responded said they don't want to support either party until they get a good reason to support either party. So anybody who thinks in that box, like that if you're not a Democrat, you must be a Republican, those people are honestly not evolved enough in their thinking. They probably, honestly, a lot of them shouldn't even be here. This is not a space for people that think in a white man's box. You have to be able to think in a black man's space, right? So in a black woman's space, you got to be, you got to know what independence looks like. And some of y'all are, unfortunately, a lot of our people are just so shaped into this slave thinking that they don't even know what it means to be free. They're afraid of freedom because freedom is a very daunting thing. Freedom ain't for children. Freedom is for grown folks. So if you're grown and you're grown enough to accept freedom and the responsibility that comes with it and the hard work that comes with it and the dedication that must come with it, then type yes in the chat. Type yes, type the word freedom, hashtag B1, all that stuff. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be free over here. We ain't trying to just be high-paid slaves. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up, share, and subscribe button. One more reminder, tonight, the masterclass, the Investing Masterclass meets. We meet every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. If you'd like to go take a look, feel free to go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. And also make sure you hit you subscribe to everything. Subscribe to the Black Financial Channel and all that stuff so that you can keep up with the developments in the markets and stuff. All right, guys. I'm out. Have a good day. See you soon. Love you. Peace.